Okay, so for set notation, let's look at our graphs. Excuse me. All right, so I'm going to put my endpoint on -3, 1. So I'm going to put it there. And then I'm going to kind of draw sort of like an Angry Birds guy. It's curved going up, and it'll continue going up to the right. So when I go to do domain, one of the things I need to think about, if you look at that top left Dixi portion, the question, how far left does this go? So the furthest left, why is this? Okay, furthest left this goes is -3. Remember, we're taking just the x value of that point. So the furthest left is -3. And then that arrow is signifying that it's going to go right forever. So everything is going to be greater than -3. So my domain variable is always x, and it's greater than -3, not equal to, because we have an open circle. And then we just finish up our set notation, and now it's in set notation. If we look at range, let's go with darker green. The lowest this goes is that endpoint. So the lowest on my y values is going to be 1. Okay? And y is above 1, so it's greater than 1. And again, open circle, greater than, and then just complete that notation to make it look pretty. Okay, let's do our next graph. So I'm going to put a solid point on -2, +5. And then I'll put an open point on 3, -4. And I'm going to connect those. All right, so that's our graph. So for this one, back to red for our domain, again, we ask how far left. Furthest left this goes is -2. And then we ask what's the furthest right this goes. Furthest right is going to be +3. So remember, we're looking at the x values there. Now we're looking at the x values, so we put our x in the middle. That -2 is a solid dot, so it's less than or equal to. And the 3 is an open dot, so it's going to be just a less than. So the x in the middle is representing everything between -2 and 3, including -2, but not including 3. Okay. So my range, I've asked first, how low does it go? So don't start at the top, start at the bottom. So the lowest this goes is going to be at -4. So I'm going to put -4. And because the range are y values, let's put our y. And then the highest this goes is going to be up at 5. So I'm going to put 5. Now -4, open circle, so less than, and then 5 is a closed circle, so less than or equal to. So the lowest to highest this goes, it's kind of like a, not range big R, but lowercase r, like a section of something, is from -4 up to and including 5. Now discrete functions, we're going to just choose some points. So we're going to do 2, -3, 4, +7, 5, 12, and 4, -1. So with discrete, if you look over to the left, it tells us that we need to list each input or output from least to greatest in braces. So let's go over, we're going to do our domain. So our domain, braces, and my lowest number or my least number is 2, and then 4, and 5. Because we don't need to repeat the 4, we only need to list it once. And then for my domain, least to greatest again, so I'm going to go -3, and then -1, 7, 12, close braces. Okay, so those are the graphs for my set notation.